All right, time to take a look at weather now. Great day to be out at the pier or really outside anywhere. Meteorologist Bill Alexander joining us now to tell us all about rain coming in the forecast. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Greg, you know, you're right. There is rain on the way. It was a beautiful weekend, but, you know, we do need the rain. Let's take a look outside right now in Rockport where it's 84 degrees. Got that southeast wind working there at 13 miles an hour. It's a little bit lighter back towards Kingsville where it's 82 degrees. It's still fair skies there. A little bit of low clouds starting to work into the Corpus Christi area. You can see just a little bit there. We actually had 1/100 of an inch of rain earlier today with a weak sea breeze that came in. Now temperatures in the lower to middle 80s area wide with that east and southeast wind at 8 to 14 miles an hour. That wind will die off after midnight and temperatures will edge on down into the lower 70s, but just barely. Now, we will see a little bit of fog around here in the pre-dawn hours as well. But here's what the big news is, a lot of rain coming up this week. We'll talk about that later in your full forecast. Greg?
Now, your KRIS 6 weather forecast.
Okay, check out this beautiful high-resolution camera shot from Snoopy's out on Padre Island, looking back across Laguna Madre towards the Intercoastal Waterway and back towards Flower Bluff. Look carefully, you see some fish jumping every now and then. Quite a nice evening out there. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what we had today. 94 degrees, your high temperature after morning low of 74. And that little brief showers that came through here, 1/100 of an inch of rain officially at the airport. Now, if you're heading out to the coastal waters, not quite as nice tomorrow as it was today or yesterday. You're going to have some isolated thunderstorms. It'll be breezy in the afternoon. The high in the upper 80s, a heat index about 106 though, with the water temperature at 86 degrees. Expect a southeast wind at 10 to 20 knots, can make for slightly choppy bays, 2-foot seas. The rip current risk is going to be low. Now here's an interesting change. Yeah, I know this is almost July, but there's a cold front that's working its way southward across the state. It's only 65 degrees in Amarillo. In fact, it's been in the 60s there all day long. And if you look down across the state, well, it seems seasonable, 80s and even some 90s elsewhere across the state. So there is a transition. And we're looking at that same thing here, 80s and lower 90s back in Cotulla. Overnight tonight, the humidity does increase, though, and it'll pretty well saturate the atmosphere as you move through the early morning hours. That's going to lead to some fog. Right now, about 75 to 85% relative humidity in the coastal counties. And that's leading to some heat index values between 85 and 95 right now. Again, not unusual, but the wind dies off after midnight and it picks up again tomorrow, but it's still going to stay fairly light throughout the week. Not a big issue there, but temperatures dropping into the lower to middle 70s everywhere except the coastline where you're going to have lower 80s, proximity to that warm Gulf of Mexico. Now here's the change though. Thunder. Instead of just hot and dry, you're going to have some thunderstorms developing mid to late afternoon, especially along the coastal zones, but it will still be hot, middle to upper 90s. And you'll still have heat index values tomorrow, 103, 104 degrees in the mid-afternoon, where you don't have the thunder developing, but not so much on Tuesday. Widespread clouds and increasing chances of rain. Here are your dew points, and they'll be hovering in the upper 60s to middle 70s for the next few days, and then actually surge up higher than that later in the week. There's that front. It goes stationary, but it does serve to focus a lot of moisture across our area, and a weak little tropical disturbance moves westward to deliver the crunching blow of heavy rain during the course of the middle of the week. Here comes that little system in here, and notice how it kind of parks over us before lifting off to the north and northeast. That's going to result in some really torrential rain along our coastal areas. Watch this pile up here, and I did some calculations. We were talking about 8 inches plus at Port O'Connor back towards Palacios and those points north and east of us, but even in our own area, 4 or 5 inches can be expected along the coastal zones. We'll be watching that and give you some updates and refinements to that forecast. This is that system we're talking about with only a 20% chance of development because of its proximity to the coastline, but this one out in the Atlantic is going gangbusters. It's got a 60% chance of developing in the next 2 days, 80% over the next 5 days as it moves into the southern Caribbean. No threat here, at least not now. Overnight tonight, 73, mostly fair skies, a little bit of that pre-dawn fog you're expecting, and then the next few days, increasing chances for rain. Highs only in the lower 90s with the cloud cover and the rain right on through Wednesday and Thursday, and then that gradually clears out. And yeah, we're talking about heat index values next weekend. Greg? All right, we're working on a pretty nice night tonight. There will be a little fog in your morning drive, so be prepared for that, especially if you leave before about 7 a.m. But looking pretty good out there, about 73 for a low temperature, and then rain opportunities begin as soon as tomorrow, and then really ramp up during the Tuesday through Thursday time frame. Could even be some heavy rain. We'll keep you advised. Greg?